Hello to all you poker players out there, and especially all of you that loves that great game of Limit Omaha. I have not been able to put in a lot of volume lately. Life seems to keep hacking me, but I'm gonna fight my way through, and will eventually start to get some hands in. But I have got played. I have played 1,524 hands since the last time. I won $18 and I should have lost 43, so still running very good. But my all-in average all-in equity is close to 60, so that's very good. And yeah, nice to run good. I just want to go over a few hands with you here. This one here, I misplay. I was digging around with it like quite a bit, because it is like, if we take like these and put it in here, then we will see it's ranked in top 42. But as soon as we put one up, so it's a suit, goes up in 21. And as soon as it's double suited, it goes up in top 9, right? Nevertheless, it's folded to the button. He opens, and I go ahead and free bet. And he calls. Here, my read is that he's not folding a whole lot. So I just try and check it down or try and improve as long as I get a free card. But I don't, and he wins. But if we go into the pre-flop helper and take a look at it here, like, where are we? Like, if we see the exact hand I have here in the small blind, we can raise, we can call 27% of the time, and if we raise, we can call a free bet, but otherwise it's not really playable. If we deconstruct it a little bit so it's single suited, we can cold call some, but still we cannot call. We cannot free bet. But when it's double suited, we can free bet it a ton, especially versus the button. We free bet it 100% of the time. So just one of those details where, yeah, I played a little bit too aggressively, and also lost 10, 11 big blinds. But funny enough, then there's another hand here. I played against another guy, which, by the way, goes to show that I don't always run that good. So middle position here, the hijack opens for a weird sizing, and I go ahead and isolate with single suited aces, and nearly exactly the same hand as cold calling over here in the small blind. And Willan here calls also. I flop top set, and he flops bottom set here. See, he has 674 big blinds, and I go ahead and bet half pot. He check calls, this guy folds. We have a stack to pot ratio of about 1.6 or something like that. He turns another set now, and I go ahead and bet half pot again, and he jams. I call, obviously, my 98% chance of winning, and boom, he make quads. But the thing is, if we take a look at his hand here, can he do what he do? He is in the small blind here, and he can actually cold call free bets. Not much, but some. So like 14%, 13%, he can actually cold call free bets. So he's not that much out of line. But what? Where are we here? Yeah, but I don't always run very, very good. But I lost this one. Yeah, that's okay. But The next one here I wanna just talk about because it's something like sometimes like they never bluff at the micros and stuff like that. And yeah, they do bluff, but they make bad bluffs, right? Or we make bad bluff. I'm part of the stake. I play the micros. I also make bad bluffs sometimes. I try to convince myself that I'm making them a little bit better than others, but in reality, I'm probably not much better. But this is just I have taken a note on this person here. I open with single suited aces under the gun. He goes ahead and free bet. I go ahead and four bet, and he jams. So my note is just that 50 big blind starting stack, free bet and five bet with 10 9 8 7 try suit, which is just not very good. I obviously call. He kind of flopped the world. I flop top set, and he turns even more the world, but my aces hold home. But just when I go through a hand like this, it's more like it keeps me in tune of what is going on the stake, what kind of players are doing this and that. And maybe it's not always that GTO wise, but it's kind of a way to keep in tune with what is going on this stake, right? And I just take a note on this player, what he had been doing. It's not very. I often take these notes. It's not often I use them because these types of players go broke very soon, and you don't see them a whole lot again. But on this same note, I did something myself. Yeah. This player here, I had played like we can try and pop up the stat, the HUD here. Should come here. Yeah, I have played 5 hands with him, and he has been free betting 2 out of 4. So I sit here in the small blind with King Queen Jack 8, and yeah, fairly strong hand. Ryan Fee's favorite hand. Hijack is opening, and this guy goes ahead and free bet, and it's a small free bet. It's a weird free bet. It's like he just looked crazy to me, so I just decided to go ahead and cold 4 bet. Obviously, we run into pretty strong aces, and he goes ahead and cold 5 bet. This guy jams, and I'm kind of priced in. I have the right odds to do it, but if we kind of take a look at the preflop helper. By the way, if you want to have access to a preflop helper, it is a tool provided by the mastermind, which is Jane Anders, who has created the mastermind. And I shall leave a link in the description below. If we take a look at this here, King Queen Jack 8, it is obviously a raise first in, but versus button we can free bet it, and we can also call versus 4 bet. We can also call versus free bet. So it is ranked fairly strong in the preflop helper. If we try and take a look at how it's ranked when we put it in here, it's ranked in top 9, so not the worst play in the world, but obviously it's pretty loose, and if I knew this guy had aces, I had not been doing it. But luckily for me, I run good. I flop top pair and flop trips and end up making a boat, so lucky for me. But yeah, he was way out of line. If we try and take up pro poker tools and just run like, if we run up here that his hand versus my hand, then I have an equity advantage preflop of 56%. If we take the aces hand into account, then this guy drops because he has the aces hand has like Jack 10 covered and blocks it, where my hand holds 35% equity versus these two hands, which is enough, just enough. And if we take and because like this player here is like pretty crazy. He plays like nearly all hands. So if I take this hand, my hand, king queen jack 8 double suited, just set it up against an 80% range, then it holds an equity advantage of 55%. So yeah, Finn, it is the mid-ice poker we play here. It's Finn, but it worked out for me, lucky enough. So the next hand I want to go through is yeah, about is people bluffing. So there's spots where people are bluffing, and there's just spots where people are not bluffing, right? And this is one of these spots that was super easy fold for me. I go ahead and open a standard ace jack jack 10 single suit to the ace. This guy calls with king queen queen 9 double suited, also pretty standard. And this guy defends with 7-7-3-3, a double paired single suited hand, which is also fairly standard. So he flops top boat here. He checks, I check. I have the nut flush draw. He checks back, which is pretty reasonable. So this guy turns a boat now, and he goes ahead and bet. I'm not quite willing to fold my nut flush draw yet, so I call, and obviously top boat here call. I river a boat myself, and he goes ahead and bet half pot. I obviously call here, but I don't want to put in a raise here. And when this guy here goes ahead and raise, yeah, this guy calls. He don't believe it, but I've seen enough of pot Limit Omaha to know that this boat is never good here, or at least nearly never. Yeah, so there is some spots where there's not a whole lot of bluffs in pot Limit Omaha. It's especially because it's like three ways, like it's not bluffing there. This hand over here is just a hand I want to mention a little bit, where I get stacked. I don't play it very well. I can try and pop up the HUD here, because there's a little bit of a reason. Like, he is a 34-59, so he's super wide. I mean, he's wide all over. He's free betting a lot. He's cold calling a lot, so he is playing a wide range, right? And this how often he stabs is like 1 out of 1, and I only have 29 hands on him, so we do play a wide range. And also, if we just try and take his hand here and put it into the pre-flop helper, we can try and put it into this here, where we can see that it is actually probably ranked pretty high. Yeah, it's up in top 8, right? And if we put it into the pre-flop helper, this hand here, then there's a raise in the cutoff. You will fold to free bet. You versus button, when you're out of position, you'll fold to free bet all the time, but when you got position versus the blind, you will call free bets all the time. But there's nothing saying about cold calling here in the cutoff, and like the cutoff is like a little bit of a special spot around cold calling. Also, this here is something that's provided by Jane Ann's Poker in the Mastermind. If we see here, we are in the cutoff versus early position, or what are we exactly here? We are in early position, yeah. So versus early position, you should only cold call 7.2% of the time. And if we go in and see here versus one race, so we can't find anything with the cutoff versus early position. We can find middle position and button, but not cutoff. So it is a little bit of a trouble spot, but what we can do is we can go in and we can see, take a look at the the middle position, for example. And then we take these one paired single suited hands, which is king king XX. Then we see in here you only call with this type of hand 11% of the time, and that means you fold a ton of your kings and queens here that's single suited. And what you need more is just more connectivity. Like, yeah, you need like a queen 10, queen jack, jack 10, la la la, all these kinds of hands. So it's kind of not very well played. Nevertheless, I open, he calls, they fold, he flops top set. I have two backdoor flush draws and no pair, so I'm not really prepared to go anywhere. I don't want to bet, get raised, and then have to fold, but I do want to go ahead and check call. So I pick up the second nut flush draw, block like top 2 now. So it is basically top set, but he could also have like weaker, like some but just kings with king queen jack, like king queen jack 9. So now he has a wrap. So I decide to go ahead and check, and he bets 75%, and I jam, and he obviously calls with the nuts, and he holds, makes a boat on the river. So like yeah, I should have played this more carefully. I was thinking with the wide range I was able to get it in ahead, but obviously I wasn't this time. These things happens, it's okay. That was about it for now. I have to go on a trip here tomorrow, or basically today, and then I will come back Friday and hopefully get some more hands in over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I will hope to see you around. But that was it for now. I wish you all the best of luck in life.